Okay, friends, welcome back to yet another session of Thinking on Destiny. We have successfully completed very detailed, elaborated re-existence. Before we go for and also I gave a small introduction about the religion of gods in the last session. So let us connect to the consciousness of Percival and let his wisdom flow through every one of us. Before we go further into his knowledge, let's meditate on his consciousness for a few minutes. Please sit in a meditative posture, cross your legs, clasp your hands, and close your eyes. Please observe your in-breath and out. You're taking vital energy. In every part of your body. Through Percival, universe gave us answer to every question we have in our life in the form of re-existence. Whatever experience you're having in this life, is just the thought that leads to this universe. Every is attached to our and exteriorize time space inside. Please place your hands on your eyes for a few seconds. And open your eyes with a beautiful smile on your face. We are not recapping anything because the last chapter itself is a recap. So let's go to our religion of gods. The 10th chapter is a religion of gods. We started, actually there's no religion in the beginning. It is only the Supreme Consciousness. And from the Supreme Consciousness, everybody, every one of us, you, me, this plant and this mountain are these animals. Everything came from that Supreme and consciousness. Everything has that, it's the God's qualities. The plant is having that God qualities, that is why it is always giving. It's giving you the oxygen, it is giving you the fruits, it's giving you the leaves. Even when it got died or anything, even the dried things also we are using it. Similarly, animal is doing whatever it's supposed to do it. It is not actually changing any of its qualities, why it was born. Because suppose if you take an animal which can eat only the grass, even when it is hungry, even when it is dying, it will not touch the meat or it will not kill the another animal and eat. Only the animals, the other animals which are born to eat meat, they will eat meat as long as they are hungry. They are not actually storing or anything. So each animal, each plant and each mountain or anything is following their whatever the duty assigned, whatever the innate quality that is assigned to them. They are going by its instinct. It is not that actually they are not actually saving or they are not doing so much of greedy things, yeah, unlike a human is doing it. Okay, but does we are not actually doing, the human is not doing it, know all these things, human being know all these things. If he doesn't know, that's a different story. But if knowing the things, human being is not following, which is no, unacceptable in this, right? So here, when that human being is not accepting the why or not doing the things that they are, that he or she is supposed to do it, that soul is supposed to do it, and then what that person has done is he separated that supreme consciousness from him. He separated, so that supreme consciousness named as a god, and this person named as a human being, a normal human being. So because whenever you are doing a lot of mistakes or anything, you want somebody, because a child wants somebody to depend on. When the child was born, he wants his mom always to be there. The mom's touch itself will give you a lot of comfort. When growing up, the father's assurance will give a lot of comfort to the boy or a girl, right? So as the kid is needing the mother and father some dependency, even the human being, once he forgot that he came from the supreme consciousness, he is the knower, and he can do, or he is a thinker and he is a knower. When he forgets that, when he is thinking that he is just the doer, then he wants some dependency, somebody to depend on. Then he created the God. Then who created the God? Man created the God, actually. That supreme consciousness is always there. Okay, which was the root for all the creation. But this God creation, the small God we can say, so that created by the human thought. Like I wanted to create a cell phone which I can talk the just face to face or something like that. Okay, I can create, if I want, I can create the telephone initially. If I want I have more air, I have created my fan, AC, and all those things. I have created a cell phone. I have created the computer. I have created the internet. All these things the human only created, right? The God has not created. Similarly, the human being also created God, because he wants some religion. He wants something to depend on his weakness or his helplessness. When he understands that he is the knower, he can do anything, then he'll not depend. But here, he doesn't understand that. That's why he want to depend on that. That's the God creation came. Human is supporting, seeking a support or a refuge in some superior being. Okay, to appeal some protection. Okay, God, give me that. Okay, God, save me here. So that kind of thing, whenever we want it, right? You just, so if God come and say that, okay, you do all the good things, I will protect you. Even then, this man is not, only that particular thing should go. I'm not saying all, but majority, that's what many of us are doing, right? So that's what. So here the man, why? Because you are thinking that you are a doer, some God is there to take care. That's the reason that you keep on doing that. But actually, once you understand that you came from that supreme consciousness, you can do anything. In that case, you will not depend on the God, because you came from that same supreme. Because once your boy or a girl became adult, once he became like, once he was on his own, once he finished their college and all, once they got, they won't depend on us, right? So they will be independent on their own, and they can tackle the things on their own. They won't depend. But we, the human being, we are keep on depending on the God. So that's the thing. Because here we have, for our security purpose, for our the protection purpose, we created the God, because helpless human being has created this God. This is the relation that you are having a superior being to the man. This is the invisible to be being, or support or a protection that he wants to seek. He want that God to be invisible. He want that to be protection. That's all. The belief, which is the religion, is the belief in nature and the powers which affect the body and to oversee him. So the belief in religion. So the belief is the religion is also again the belief. It is the natural power to be superior of his own personality, his own belief, and had to be. His personal God is magnified, sublimated the human being. So his again your personal God, how it will be, you will not depend on the, okay, God, sun, without sun we are not actually having anything. You may not depend on the sun. You are depending on that natural personal God to be sublimated as a human being. So some Rama, some Krishna, some Jesus, some Muhammad, so some which is like a man. So you want that kind of thing, who is a powerful, who has the powers, who they feel who you feel that God also should have a body, because you are having a body, that God also should have a body. With the what happened, all these things, you lost the knowledge that you are the light being, you have the light. You lost that knowledge. So you are worshipping somebody who had that understanding that they are the light being, they have the light. So Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, or whatever the things that you are, Sai Baba, or anybody, they know that they are the light beings, they know that they are the knowers. That's why they behaved that way when they were in the. So instead of following them, what we are doing is we are just taking their posture and keeping it the God and putting a garland, when we are saying that, okay, you are the God. Okay, that is the belief system that we developed here. Okay, instead of believing that individual triune self, individual intelligence, that we have the human beings, that we started believing those who are actually identified themselves. So we believe them, they are the God. Okay, then when one person is making, when a human being is making like this, right? Who is allowing this? Why actually this has to be allowed? Who is allowing it? Can you tell me who is allowing it?
The people whom we are worshipping, they, because we are giving the power.
We are giving the power, but
thought only, our thought.
But
only.
our thought is only that thing. But these things also, this supreme intelligence, why it is allowing, again tell me why it is, because the supreme intelligence is there, right? Why it is allowing is because without that religion, the people are going too bad. If there is a religion, if there is a God, if there is a thing, that at least with that fear, with that God fearness, people are at least trying to bring to the some common ground.
Yeah.
Because of that, the supreme intelligence is allowing a person to think that way. Because at least if they think that way, at least maybe they are able to do well in their life, or they are able to understand that they are not. So some point in life they may understand it, because otherwise the problems are encountered by many. So they are not able to control these things, because maybe that's the reason why some men, because this religion came again, some men who are actually able to teach, right, who are, so they started writing collection of essays, teachings, laws, prayers, adventures, magic stories, all these things, sacred writings, all these things. Some men who have that theology doctrines, that they are able to do it, right? They started writing all these things. Because of that, we got all our Puranas, or whatever the things that we have it, right? All these things came into the picture Because of this sculpture, or these things, people try to understand that there is if they do, means at least they try to put the order to the society. Okay, these writings must have strongest appeal to feelings and emotions that must be the foundation of the ethics and laws that one can adhere these things. So what are these laws are actually happening? Suppose if you take a Satyanarayana Swami puja, so they say that, okay, if you don't eat prasadam, then the God will. So really the God will do that? He will not do that, because he wanted to have some kind of a focus there, some kind of thing. Do
Will
all these things, then you'll get. So because of that, some story was written. Just because you didn't eat prasadam, God will not punish. God is not any psycho to punish you. But they try to put the society in order. Because of that, they said, oh, these 5 stories you have to listen, and after that you have to do this ritual. At least they try to bring some order into the person, because the person is going crazy, right? So when that person is going, sit in the morning, take bath, put the deep, light the lamp. At least you will understand somewhere that you have that light within you. So something, some concept, right? They just try to put. So all these things, because when the society is going so bad, the learned men, they try to keep some of the things, some of these things in the form of the religion. So that is the one way. That's a one way of that. They're trying to control that, and they are trying to impart some kindliness. They are impart some duty, and they are trying to impart some highest purpose of a human being. All these things they are trying to do it with the help of the religion. Okay, there are various religions, various theological systems, the various institutions of the worship. They are coming from time to time. They are coming and going, coming and going. Why? Because as long as some people are believing that religion will be there. As long as some people are believing that God will be there. Okay. When people, suppose there are so many grama devatas which they used to be worshipped, now they are not there much. Those grama devatas, that concept is not there much. Very few places it is there, because those gods worshipping the people were less. They are not there. As for anything art, right? Yeah, as long as the thought is there, when all of us are giving a thought, we are giving that light to that statue or the thing, then that God is flourishing. When you are not giving that light, that God will vanish. So then where is the God? God is within you, or God is within that statue?
within us.
Within us. That God, that light is within us. So that is the official expression, or the official thing is there within you only. You are helping the God to flourish. You are helping, if your thought is not there, the God is not there, that religion is not there. Religion is nothing but a belief system. Religion is a belief system. Whether it's a good or bad, whatever it is just the belief system. When a religion is practiced to lead or allow its devotees to develop a reasoning and understanding, to grow into the higher and more enlightened state, then it is good. Understand? So when a religion is practiced, if it is helping you to grow into the higher level, then the religion is good. No doubt. But if the religion is keeping you in an ignorance, if the religion is always saying that the God is somewhere, the light is not there, you have to worship. If you do that, that will happen. If you do this, that will happen. Always do that. Then that religion is doing a crime, cruelty. So in some of the cases, you do that sacrifice, all the things also that happen, right? So all these things is a crime and cruelty is being encouraged in the name of the religion, then it is a bad. So the religion is, it can be good or it can be bad, depends on with what intent you are practicing it.
It became commercialized in a way.
Yes, in a way, yeah, if it is become commercialized, it is a bad thing. That's what it, right?
Yeah.
So it is usually born out of, when that religion is, it was usually born out of a turmoilism, confusion, disheartening, and the war. Because of this, all these things, the religion has come. It fails to the school of mass of adherence to the higher life, and soon suffers from theology or institutionalization and official hypocrisy, and by bigotry and corruption. See, all these things you are seeing. I need not explain this, right? Because it might have started with a very good intention, that religion, but as soon as it started instantly, I have been associated with that many, not only the normal associations like Telugu associations or anything, and also associated with the temples, organizations, and all those things. Whenever I go, right, so I see that that intent initially when they started, that intent will be good. But as soon as, if you see any organization, any temple or anything, right, as soon as it goes to the then the power struggle will come. When the power struggle will come, the corruption will come. So where is that? The original intent is gone. So it disappears. The original intent is getting disappeared. So similarly, sometimes when the people are all say that, oh, this religion is bad, then the religion will also disappear. So as long as the mass is actually mass of the users, because why this is existing till, because these users, these doers, whoever is practicing that religion is believing it and coming again and again into this earth plane, right? So whatever their thoughts are exteriorizing. So as long as these thoughts are, because until that human being thought you change it, right? This religion will not go, this belief system will not go, this corruption will not go. This priest will always try to impose some rules. If you do that, this will happen. If you do that, that will happen, that kind of thing. Yesterday, I'm just laughing because somebody is asking, can you ask priest on which time is good, so that I will ask the doctor to do the C-section. So if you are actually fixing it, if you are doing everything, does that you can change everything, the baby? If you are fixing that time, do you think that they can change everything? It is not a natural birth. It is not just like that. It's coming up. You are fixing and you are asking doctor to do the surgery at this such and such a time. It's such a belief system. You can see this, such a belief system, right? So you are believing, your belief went so blind. On the whole, it's better that there should be even such a religion, such a religion than none. So sometimes it is better to have some religion than none, because if there is nothing, this order will also go. That is why sometimes it is better to have some religion. Religions are allowed to survive because there are so many people started believing it. So all these people believe there should be something, so it is allowed to sustain. So because of that, some people who understands that they are the light beings, so they have served the society with the devotion and all those things. What the other people did, that they just made them as a mystics. They lead, because they lead the life with a purity and with a pure contemplation. So like Patri Sir or Sai Baba or Ramana Maharshi, all these people, right, they lived their life with so pure contemplation. So we made them just photo, put the garland, and then, because what we have to understand is, they understand that they proved that they can do. If we think we can do anything, even Steve Jobs or anybody, right, for that matter, what did they prove? If they want to invent some technology, they can invent. So when we can invent such a kind of technology, when we can do something like that, why can't we think that we are the creators? We can do anything. You are the creator. We can say Steve Jobs is the creator of the iPhone, right? So when he can create the iPhone, can't he create the life that he wants to have it? Once you understand that you can create it, you can create. Once you are not actually understanding that you are that light being and you cannot create, then you will not be able to create. This force, this support should come within you. Otherwise, you will not be able to. So because of all these devotees, whether it's a good or evil, some religion started existing, and the supreme intelligence allowed it to be existed, because these religions are necessary in order to engage the thoughts, people's thoughts, because they're going crazy. People's thoughts, they wanted to engage the thoughts, right? So to engage that thought, they carry this religion, because in their form, so they started existing, that institutions, rituals, devotees connected with this belief. So all these things, one after the another, it started existing. See, previously, if you see, right, in the olden days, we have a very small temples in every what do you say, in every village. We used to have some Rama temple, or that much I know, and we have a big temple somewhere. But here, because the belief system has increasing so much, and you wanted to depend on so much to the god, right? There is everywhere, there are so many temples. As long as all these peoples are believing such there is a religion is there. Whenever you are sick and if you go to the God, it can cure. Whenever you are saying that, right, this religion will still existing. So these religions are the placeholders to exercise the functions of the government, to wield the power, because the priests are the human and this is natural. As long as the religion is started, obscurantism, because what do you mean by this obscuration is, right, it's hiding. When the religion was started, they started hiding the facts. What is the fact that they started hiding? They don't want to tell you that you are the supreme power, you can do anything. They don't want to tell these priest people, they don't want to tell, right? When that guy asked, like, okay, priest, tell me like which date, that the priest will tell, okay, my boy, any day is fine, whatever the day the soul is supposed to come into this earth, let that come. You don't decide. The soul will decide and come. If you are deciding this will not happen, because every soul it has a plan and it will come and it will act accordingly. And you have the power that the priest will tell. When you go and ask them, then they will write, they will put some things and they will write something and they say, okay, this day is right, this day is not good, because they started hiding the facts that you are the supreme power, you can do anything. That thinking was not imparted to the human being. And in the name of spirituality, they will say that according to the God, according to this, there is the fantasism was created. So so if you don't do this, some horrible things will happen according to the religion. So they started doing it. Because of that fear, right, the religion became successful. Because of that fear only, the religion became successful. Religions may be, because with so many trivialities, the religions also became so cheap. Because is that the God will punish something? It is not, right, because each religion started its own thing, so they became cheap as well sometimes. So then Parsiva, that's the end of the section 1, and we'll see what is that section 2 he is trying to say, right? He is saying classes of gods. What do you think? What are the classes that you think? Can you tell me? Because we have been studying 9 chapters, right? What are the classes of God? He's talking about in this chapter classes of God, the gods of religions, how they come into the existence, how long they last, appearance of God. Which one?
Nature gods and then human-made gods.
Yes, nature gods and human-made gods. There are only 2 gods, elemental gods. We can say elemental gods are the nature gods and human-made gods. So the gods here are, the only thing is, so the other the part of the gods are the human-made gods. The first gods, that is being the nature gods, that is sun, moon, earth, Panchabhutas are the gods. So there are so many. There are many innumerable amounts of gods that we know, right? There are nature gods outside, and there is a light of intelligence within a man. Actually, there are 2 gods, nature gods and the light of intelligence that within a man are the 2 gods. But we are not agreeing that we are intelligent man. We are not agreeing that we are the God. So we created some God. Okay, because we can't create the sun, we can't create the earth, right? So that's why those nature gods are there. Otherwise, we would have created something else also. The nature gods are of 2 classes again. That is the gods of the pure elementals and gods worshipped in religions. Gods of the pure elementals and gods worshipped in the religions. What are the pure elementals? That is, the gods of the pure elemental, that is the spheres exist in the hierarchies, that is figurative things. Channels that would be more descriptive, that is earth, fire is one. Earth, fire, water, all these things, right? Making a system that of the water which is the same as mountain lake, a reservoir or something. So all these are all the reservoir of the fire is the fire god. Reservoir of the water is the water god. Reservoir of the earth is the earth god. Something like that. All these are the elemental gods. The units can progress downward only towards the earthy earth, then towards the physical body. The great elemental fire god, which stands behind all its elementals, is most powerful, is that most easily commanded and will obey most readily. The fire god, that's what he is saying. However, at least all the elementals in that is least least progressed. It is less progressed than the lower elements. So they are not progressed. That's what they are. Whatever they are less powerful, but more progressed than the fire element as a whole. In these hierarchies, unit cannot be ascend because each descent is advanced in its development. Okay, these are all the natural gods. We will just talk about it. I'll describe this. What is this ascending and descending? In another way we'll be able to understand. So the next one is the pure elementals. So the gods of the pure elementals are not known as the humans are worshipped in their religions, because in the worship here, right, what we are so Indra Deva instead of air, we call it as in Vayu Indra. Am I right?
Vayu Indra Varuna.
Vayu Indra Varuna. The water is Varuna. Something like that. So they are not exactly the same. Again, we gave a human form. Why? Because even for the nature gods also we gave the human form, because we are in the human form. We want the god also to be like that, like us. Okay, the gods worshipped in Jewish, Christian religions are nature gods, but not pure nature gods, because they have created with the human thinking, they have created some figures. The gods worshipped in the religions have been are parts of the elementals. These parts are projected their worshippers and support as separate beings by thinking of these worshippers. See how that these gods were projected, because these gods were projected with some person, but that person has projected, and there are the people, some set of people. Suppose if you say Lakshmi Devi, whenever we say the Lord Lakshmi, how do you imagine, right? You got some picture.
With the money.
Who gave you that picture?
Human thinking.
Human thinking. Somebody painted that picture, right? It could be Raja Ravi Verma or somebody. They painted the god's picture. So you have that kind of thing. In one of the in some time back, like when I was a kid, right? So if a Krishna means it is only N.T. Raman. Because he played so many roles of it, and they started seeing the movie. So Krishna means his posture only will come to their mind. Now Krishna means at least we are portraying some picture, because we have seen that Krishna everywhere, isn't it? But what is actually the Krishna is that supreme consciousness only, which doesn't have any form, isn't it? So, but because we all started worshipping it, it became that we all accepting that God, right? That's how it is. Gods came into existence. Remember, gods came into existence as an expression of human thinking. Otherwise, there's no gods. Okay, it is only the expression of a human thinking which tries to bring a group of people or a mass of people that they wanted to follow. Because a group or a mass has started following it, then that God is existing. Once this group or mass is not following one, they stopped following it, that group vanishes. That God will vanish. Like any other thing. Suppose there is a one thing in your house. As long as you are using it, you see that thing, right? Suppose you stop using it. The moment you stop using it, that item will disappear from your home, isn't it? You keep like 10 days, 1 year maximum. Oh, last 1 year I never used it, throw it. Done. Isn't it? Similarly, the God also, as long as somebody believes it, the God will exist. Otherwise, the God is not there, because it is all made from the human thinking. God must be approved by the ruling intelligence and must take life. The intelligence is not arbitrary in its approval or rejection. That this God should be approved by the supreme intelligence. But here is the thing is, the God is not actually, is not the arbitrary thing, right? Because he is actually, people desire. It's not that thing. People desire for a happy or merit or a lavish or some bloody thing or some warning thing, some vultuous God also is existing, because people are actually accepting. Actually, the supreme intelligence has to accept it. But what is happening, because of their desires, people are accepting. That's why, because these people are also, there is a godly nature is there. There is supreme intelligence is appearing in these people. And when they started accepting it, it is the God is still existing. The God is there still. God and praise him and pour out their thought to him. Whenever you are praising him, pour out your thought, right? So that God will that God will still existing, because the first cause is the supreme intelligence, part of your supreme intelligence is started admitting him. So then the God will exist. In this manner, we got the so many Mullah, Charbal, I don't know, only Jehovah we know, Thor and various gods are there in the Christian gods. Also, the trinities such as Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva came into the Hindu, and Osiris, Isis, and Horus came into Egyptian. All these gods into the came because of our thoughts. All these gods came into the existence. And but what he is saying is the Greek gods do not belong to this class. Who are those gods? The Greek gods. They were not created from the human thoughts. But then how the Greek gods came? Because they are the people, they are the race of the people who lived in this world, with the conscious that they are the light. You understand?
Like Rama and Krishna.
Yeah, actually, if you go back, right, so much, if you do that, right, because these are all the things came from the Greek mythology. That's what they say it, right? That's why that's what I think he is also saying it.
Yes.
Okay. Whoever is lived with the, if we can take Rama, Krishna, Jesus, whatever it is, right? So they lived with the conscious of that they are the light. So these are all the gods. Those gods, they are worshipping it as a god. Suppose we know Ramana Maharshi came because other things, Rama, Krishna, I don't know. Let's not worry about it. We know Ramana Maharshi. We know that he lived with that consciousness. We know Sai Baba, he lived in that consciousness, right? With that consciousness, and because of, so those people, we made them gods. These are all the gods that are, because 100 years back, he may not know about all these things, right? So he took the example of Ramana Maharshi. A god loss means he will be there as long as there are people who nourishes them, who worships them. It could be decades or thousands of years, but God is not eternal. God is not eternal because it's a thought created by the human being. As long as the human being is worshipping, this God's existence will exteriorized in the form of a prayer and worship. As long as many people are praying and worshipping, that God exists. When the mass fades away, the God will fades away. That is what it is. The worship. So they started with the some sudden change or anything. They started worshipping some different deity. When God ceases to be, his eternal, his elemental parts are returned. Even the God, like we are saying that human being will be going to the Panchabhutas, this God will also be his thoughts will be gone, because only your thought is giving you that. Otherwise he will not belong nowhere. Only the thoughts of a living can nourish as a god, because he needs some blood, some nerves to transmit something. So that is to prayer, to price. Because of that, he created God. Every god has a feeling of identity. Every god has a feeling of identity. He feels the same. What is that feeling of identity? What is that identity the God will feel with all these things, right? Can you tell me what is the identity that God will feel?
Superiority.
Whatever why superiority they are feeling? Because all these people are feeling that God is superior.
Yeah.
Because all these people are feeling that the God is superior. So that God will also have that kind of feeling. Whatever that feeling of identity, all the mass of the people, whatever that the worshippers are believing to have of that God, right? The God will have it.
It's like king. See.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, it's like a king or anything, right? So that's why the once he said, right, when you put a stone there and you started worshipping God, and that's when you are believing, thousands of people are going and giving their light, that stone can do anything to you.
Yes.
Because there is a light was given to that stone that became God, because your belief is there. Yeah. This identity lost to the God, as long as God conscious of his identity, and many people worship it. If the many people are not worship it, it will not. The identity of the God differs from the identity of each triune self is. Remember. So who is greater? The identity of God or the identity of triune self? Tell me now.
Triune self.
Identity of
ultimately, the identity of triune self. Because triune self exists, triune self identifies, irrespective of whether somebody is praising him, somebody is putting the belief or not. Whereas God is disappearing if no one is putting the belief. But triune self is going as growing and becoming an intelligence, but it is not actually doing, it's not reducing its thing. Triune self contributes from itself. Triune self is contributing to the identity of God, because the triune self within you, the light within you, is contributing the identity of the God, because you can create the God, but that God cannot create you. You are coming only from the triune self, the supreme consciousness. So you are the one who is actually creating the God. Again, people may say that I am not, because if you understand logically, you will be able to figure it out why exactly what the Percival is trying to talk about here, right? So what is the religion that he's talking about? The gods have bodies, because every one of us is having the fleshy bodies. Because of that, we want that whatever the God that we have created, right? We want that suppose Lakshmi Devi beautiful, Parvati Devi very beautiful, the Saraswati Devi very knowledgeable, because we created that, isn't it? Because whatever the way we are thinking, that's how we started creating it. So because from our thought, that matter, the thought went and the matter came into that existence. This matter consisting of a free units of elements. This matter is consisting of this free units of elements and transient units of the bodies of the worshippers. This matter, right, the God matter, is consisting of the transient units of, these transient units are coming from where? The bodies of the worshippers are going and sitting with the God. There are so much, this transient unit, so much light is going to that God, and God is there. God may contain, in addition to the compositor units from the bodies of their worshippers, after the doers in their after death states have ceased to use these units. See, here after death also, because you already given your light to that light continues to use by this God, but even after your death, because you gave that transient units, you gave that belief and units to that God. So see how powerful a human being is. How powerful, when you understand that you are the knower, how powerfully you can do it. So remember one thing, right? Suppose as a kid, you wanted to do something. Are you able to do it now or not? I cannot say there won't be anybody if they put some intent, whether it's a good or bad, I'm saying. Whether a person want to have a lot of money. The other day I just met a person. So because she's explaining, oh, I have those diamonds, I have that, I have this the big house and all those things. I'm trying to understand, because after coming to this path, right, I'm trying to understand why this kind of quality came to that person. Whenever I'm trying to, because she has faced some of the somewhere in their mother or not mother. No, I think grandfather has a step grandmother, I think. So this family was always looked down compared to the other family. So she had that kind of feeling that I wanted to earn a good amount of money. See, that person is able to do it. Whatever the thing she want to do it, she's able to do it. Why? Because she had that light. She had that supreme intelligence. So you put your thing into whatever the way that you want to do it, you are able to do it. So when you are able to do it, why don't you think that? Because why all other people are living in the poor? That's why they said, if you are born as a poor, it's not your problem. If you are living as a poor, if you are living as an ignorance, then it's your problem, because you are not putting enough light there. You have that light, you are wasting your light. Human has that kind of capacity. So you are keeping all your light to the God, or your light to the somebody. You are praying and praising the God. You are offering something, and you are smelling that incense. So all these things you are just giving the God, because your light is gone. You are not actually using the light for your own purpose. All the gods have the bodies of the nature matter, and through most of these bodies have a form. Some very few are having without form. The body of Jehovah is it Jehovah? I don't know much about this, only. The body of Jehovah is without form. He dislikes the images of himself. Some Christian gods have the bodies in the form and some do not, which with the human image, and some do not have the thing. The bodies of the gods which are in the form are not fleshy bodies, though they contain units that have made up of the flesh bodies of their worshippers. See, gods do not have any bodies, but the flesh bodies of the worshippers, they are actually forming that shape. The bodies of the god need not be dimensional as human bodies. They need not be two. So you may imagine that God as a light being, right? Or you may imagine that God as a lingam kind of thing. So Shiva Linga, that's the God that we are using. So whatever the way that you are, that doesn't have a form, right? That may represent, they may be present in the four planes, physical world, all the four worlds. The bodies of the gods, if without form, may take on a form and is having a general form, they may change from time to time. They may change from time to time. One time they may be representing like a dragon. In another time, the god may be representing as a serpent. In another time, the god may be representing as an elephant. We can connect with our gods also, right? Or one time you may represent it as a rock, one time you may represent as a flowing water, and one time you may be representing as a rushing wind, one time as a flame, one time as a blazing star, one time as a burning sun. So these are all the different forms that you may be appearing, the god you are appearing, right? So they may also speak as a voice coming out of these forms also. These appearances may be solid or airy or astral bodies. So whatever the way that you imagine, you can imagine the god. Well, the god has a no youth or a no old age, but comes into the existence fully created. He changes during his existence and his worshippers change, because he changes his existence as the worshippers change. Suppose if you write the Balarama is only there, then everywhere the Balarama only will be there. Suppose if our human being, because in the creation, right, if you remember, there is so many thousands of years this land without any creature that we know, right? So then started some small creature, then the human being come. Human being came into the existence. So do you think that the God is there that time?
No.
When the human being is created, do you think the God is there?
I mean, not in the form.
No.
So the form is created by whom? By human being.
Human being.
Yeah.
That's a clear, right? That's a clear. When the human being came, the God is not there. So God was created by this human being. So the God will not suffer. The God will not have any physical aches or a pain, but only the psychic afflictions such as anger, grief, fear. So these things will be there. God will get anger.
Because we attribute.
Because we attribute all our qualities. God does not sleep. He has no solid body at all the times. Sometimes worshippers will give. The gods have sex, but no sex organs, because they have no fleshy bodies. The sex organs of their worshippers are adequate. These are the gods and goddesses, because we also give that, oh, this god and goddess married and they got the kids, because this is all the stories that we built. If they were worshipped by the hermaphrodite gods, then they are those are the, what is that?
Hermaphrodites.
Hermaphrodites. What is the meaning? I didn't go ahead.
I think it's like not exactly, one sex.
Not exactly one sex. Yeah. It's
No gender.
No gender as such.
Gender.
In addition to this nature matter which makes up the body, with or without form, God has an intelligent matter which the doers of his worshippers endue them. So the doers finally, so whether he has a body or not or anything, all these things, but he has an intelligent matter is there. That we came to agree. Only thing that we are not agreeing is that intelligent matter which we are attributing to the God is there with you. That's why you are able to attribute. That is the truth that we all should understand. These religions are hiding that truth. That's what Percival is saying. Religions are hiding that truth because the religions want to survive. whoever the institutions are there that they wanted to survive. Even the celestial prophecy is speaking about that thing only, right? All the things is happening and people has to have a shift that they have, that they are that energy being. But this Christianity or whoever the churches that they wanted to condemn this document. That's what they say, because they do not want people to understand that they are powerful.
And then
Once
the church.
once they understand they are powerful, they won't come to them, right?
Yeah.
That's where they do not want it. Similarly, any religion, it could be Hindu or it could be Christianism or it could be anything, they wanted to keep some power. They wanted to control the people. That's why these religions are still existing. But not because they wanted to control the religions are existing, but because these mass people are following. They're giving their light to there. Because of that, these things is existing. So with this 6:55 in my thing, I'm stopping here. I just wanted to open the discussion because it's interesting, right? I want to open for discussions and I want to hear from you all.